Everybody said, well, you know, you really can't do it with Title V. And I said, oh, yes, you can. I did it 10 years ago. It works. I'd rather be err on the side of student success than any other thing I can imagine. So one of these days we will have this because I guarantee you it works for students. It allows them to persist, to be retained, higher grade point average. It's just a fact of life. But this is just one of the very minor things that we're talking about that can have a major difference on our students. So when we talk about this overall plan of everybody in this room, we understand that student success starts in the classroom. It starts with that person that's standing up here behind that lecture. It talks about how well that instructor is giving that message and getting the feedback from their students. So if it means we change maybe some teaching methodology to reach a different generation of students, then that's what we're engaging in. It's talking about staff development. How can we reach students? How can we get the message across? We look at the student environment, the learning environment. Are we meeting the needs of our very highly technological savvy students? Are we doing that? So you have all these things in front of us. We're all ready. We have a desire. Your commitment today shows that. And now we need to work together to make sure we're fulfilling that dream of student success.
The next measure, this is also pretty straightforward. Now this time they're just looking at 1 year. They're not doing that over a time period. So they're looking at a certain year for successful completion of a vocational course. So this has stayed pretty close, pretty constant, 73%, 70%, 71%. So that's just in a single year, people who are taking vocational courses, do they succeed? The peer group, we're almost at the average. We're a little bit below, though there is an 11-point jump to the most successful college in our group. So again, there's plenty of room to do a little better on this. Persistence rate, this is actually one of our strongest categories, and the way they measure it is to look from fall to fall. So if students took at least 6 units in one fall term, then they look to see if they came back in the following fall, actually at any college in the system. So this has been rising for us from 71 to 73 to 75, so we're on an upward trend.
What we need to do is we need to show improvement in these 5 areas. We need to improve with regard to learning resources, academic infrastructure, instructional programs, student engagement, and teaching practices. But the question is, what do we specifically need to do inside of those 5 circles, right? That's been the main question of the Student Success Committee, not exclusively the Student Success Committee, some other committees have been looking at this also. But that's been the main question over the last year or so. We've really spent the last year doing a lot of homework to try to figure out what we should put inside those 5 circles in terms of specific projects, and we have 35 things that we think should go in those circles. And I'm going to introduce you to those things. I'm also going to talk about how we get those 35 things done over the next 2 or 3 years, all right? Before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about how we came up with those 35 things. We have been soliciting and collecting comments and suggestions from everybody. All right? We've collected them from the Faculty Senate, from the Student Success Committee. We've collected them from the Development Ed Committee, the IFALCN meetings, the Dean's meetings. We've had an outside evaluator come in and take a look at our LRC. We've done 2 campus-wide surveys that ask these kinds of questions to all constituents. Those were conducted over the last 2 years. From those documents, from that collection, we collected 2,000 or 3,000 recommendations and comments, but about 1,000 of them were specifically directed at student success. Let's get to the results quickly here. For English 52 prerequisite, of the 741 courses, 88 courses show significant improvements in success rates, retention rates, GPA with English 52 as a prerequisite. All right? So let's take this geology class here, Geology 105. Geography 105, the prerequisite. There's no prerequisite on it right now, but we know which students would have met the prerequisite, which students would not have met the prerequisite over that 5-year period. The students that would have met the prerequisite, if it was there, had a 17% higher retention rate, a 29% higher success rate, and average GPA of about 0.7 points higher on a 4-point scale. So that's almost a full grade point higher. Look at some of these success rates: 49%, 45% higher success rate if you meet the 52 prerequisite. All right. This is 30 of the examples from the list of 88. It's in my room if you want to see the whole list. I'm curious if you're on the list. And what is really surprising, the whole committee found this surprising, is it spreads across everything. I didn't put these up there so it looks like it's real diverse. This was just the top 30. It cuts across every single division.